everybody, welcome to week 16 of CIT 12. Week 16, next week is the last week of instruction. The week after that is finals week, so this semester is at its end. Now, several people have emailed me with questions about the practical exam in PowerPoint. And I figured there are probably a few people who have the same question but just haven't emailed me, so I figured I'd address it here. In step 4, a number of people have had an issue. They're not quite sure what it's asking them to do. Remember, when you downloaded all of the files, there were 2 PowerPoint presentations. There was one that had the word greater in it. That's the one that you opened and you've been making all your changes to. And there's another one that says company overview. That company overview PowerPoint is specifically for step 4. So the idea is you've got the greater project open, and on step 4 it asks you to make sure the first slide is selected. So you can just select that. And then to add the second slide from the company overview presentation. The way you do that is through new slide, reuse slides. I think had they used the word reuse, people probably would have gotten it. You would have remembered when we went over it in the lab. But since they didn't, it's sort of like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. So the idea is you use the reuse slides feature found under new slide under the home tab. And then you can open up the company overview PowerPoint and you'll see all, I think it's like 6 or 8 slides from that presentation sort of on the right hand side. And then you can just select the second slide and add it to your presentation. Reuse slides effectively allows you to sort of steal slides from presentations you've done in the past and add them into your presentation. And one of the things you'll notice is that when you do that, the slide will be in whatever theme you did for the other presentation. But when you pull it into your presentation, everything will change to match the theme of your presentation. So it's just a little bit better. Anyway, that's what you're supposed to do on step 4. Stay on the greater project that you're working on, and then just add the second slide from the other presentation using the reuse slides feature. There's one other question about the practical, which is some people were having some issues with the online, I think it's online clip art, online images, online pictures, something along those lines. They couldn't find the picture of the snowboarder with the snowboard behind his head. It's an online world. I don't know why they would ask you to choose a specific photo. Don't worry about it. Just pick any picture you want of a snowboarder and everything will work just fine. I talked with the people from Pearson and they actually say you could choose any image. It doesn't actually have to have a snowboard in it, but you know, for the spirit of the practical, choose one that has a snowboard in it so that I know that you actually searched for snowboards. But other than that, any picture will do. You don't have to have the one with the guy with the snowboard behind his head. Apparently it's gone. So anyway, add any online picture you want. You'll get credit for it. And I know some of you still have questions about the final exam. I promise I will cover it all next week. As some spoilers, next week is going to be fairly light. We'll have that 1 week late period, so some people will still be doing this week's work next week. But there's going to be a couple opportunities for you to do some stuff that's not quite extra credit, but if you do it, it may replace another grade. But that's next week, so I don't want to confuse people. It's there. There will be a practice final sort of experience you can have next week, so you'll be able to prepare yourself for the final exam. That being said, the final exam will be in finals week. More information about that next week. But again, spoilers, it's just kind of a big quiz. So if you've done well on the quizzes, don't worry about the final. You'll probably do fine on the final. Now, let's forget about next week and let's forget about last week. Let's talk about this week. This week, we've got a brand new chapter, our last chapter, chapter 9. It's all about security and malware. It is probably one of the most important chapters, even though it's right here at the end of the semester, that we cover because it's such a big issue right now in computing. Everybody kind of wants to know how to protect their system. And this will cover a lot of the sort of exploits that are out there, a lot of methods and ways you can protect yourself, your network, your computer from being hacked, from having your information stolen, from getting a virus that just does damage to your system, all the different threats out there. If you're not in the habit of actually watching the videos, make sure that you watch this one, the lecture videos. I talk about stuff that's not necessarily in the chapter, but is a little bit more current in terms of some of the threats out there and how you can protect yourself from them. So check out the malware video. It's a fairly important video. And yeah, definitely read chapter 9. It's all about securing your system. As always, with chapter 9, there's the lecture video that I said to watch, and then there's also a quiz on chapter 9. So be sure to do both those things this week. Your discussion for this week is actually really simple. And that's because there is one thing, one very simple thing that protects almost everything you own. I mean, when you think about it, you know, we put security systems on our houses, we put locks, we do all this sort of stuff. The thing that protects you in the online world, the thing that's protecting your bank account, the thing that's protecting your private photos, the thing that's protecting pretty much anything you have online is a password. It's a small, simple thing. It's not even the best way of doing it. And most computer scientists know that, and we're trying to get away from passwords. And you're beginning to see that with things like Apple Pay and some of these other sort of, they call them biometric ways of proving your identity. But for right now, passwords are sort of the way we do it. And so you've got so much that's being protected by this one simple thing. And if you look at most studies, I think it's something like, look at the video, I talk about it more in depth, but I think it's like 80% of people choose the exact same 100 passwords. In case you're wondering, it does not take a computer very long to just try 100 passwords. If you're using one of those 100 passwords, if you're one of those 80% of the population, it's going to be very quick to hack into your accounts. And so because of that, it's important to choose good passwords. I want you to look at two different resources, one of which is howsecureismypassword.net. You may see similar tools out there. This just happens to be a good one. It's online, available to everybody, regardless of your operating system. And it's a trusted site. You type in your password, whatever password you use for your bank, your Facebook, whatever, a password you want to see how long or how good it is. And it will tell you in sort of real terms how many seconds, or how long I should say, it will take to crack your password just using a standard PC and some software that you can get readily available on the internet that I'm not going to talk about in this type of class. If it was a networking class, sometimes you teach locksmiths how to pick locks. That's part of the job, but not for this level of class. Regardless, just know that software is out there. And there's constantly new software that's coming out, and you want to choose a good password. That set of characters where you're using uppercase, lowercase, some letters, some characters that aren't letters or numbers, so special characters, all those things make your password harder to crack. And so it's a really quick way of just typing in your password. It will tell you, will it take you 5 seconds to crack your password, or would it take a hacker 300 years to crack your password? Choosing good passwords matters. It's the one thing protecting everything you have online. In addition, there's another thing I want you to check out. It's called 1Password. It's a software platform, or a software product by Agile Bits. And what it does is it makes you only have to remember one password. The idea is that you have a password for one password, and then it remembers every other password that you have. And so when you're trying to log into your bank, when you're trying to log into Facebook, when you're trying to log into whatever, it will fill in the password for you automatically so long as you have the one password for your 1Password account. Now I will say, just in the last few months, there have been some reports of people that are trying to essentially hack the 1Password software, as well as other software like it. And so it isn't necessarily secure. And in fact, it may be putting all your eggs in one basket. It may be better to just have a system of several tiers of passwords that you use for different levels of security, and doing it all manually. But it is a product out there, and it's a product that a lot of other competitors are copying. 1Password costs money, but a similar product is being built into Mac OS X, a similar product is being put into Windows 10, and so you may have this for free already through your platform. The only problem is it's only for, like, if you're using the password, manager keychain in Mac OS X, that only works for your Mac, your iPhones, your iPads, things that are Apple related. It wouldn't work on your PC, your Windows PC at home. So one password will work on everything, but it costs money. Regardless, check it out. See if this is a type of thing you think might be helpful, might be useful. Is it something you'd want to use? Is it worth the money? And just know that, hey, check out your operating system. If you happen to have all your devices be either Windows or Google or Mac OS X, there may be similar tools either out now or coming out soon that you can use for free. So anyway, check it out, those two resources. And please, if you have just sort of ignored everything all semester, make this the semester, or make this the week you choose to actually apply some of these lessons. And if you have a terrible password, go change it, all right? And that's it. There's no lab this week unless you're still working on the practical, so finish that up. But other than that, that's all we have. Chapter 9, read it, check out the lecture video, do the quiz, you've got a discussion, and you're finishing up the practical if you haven't already done that. So that's it for this week. Hopefully you're having a good one, and I'll see you online.